All right, thanks to everybody that joined. Again, my name is Mohamed Beshir from AT Spec, the Ontario account manager here, helping you with your specification request. And today we have with us Lori from Bemis, our newest seat manufacturer for water closets. So we wanted to do, as part of our process of giving different presentations and different webinars, and telling you more about the different products and the different manufacturers that we support. So today we wanted to have Lori with us presenting their products, and we'll also talk more about the spec process as well at the end. If you have any questions at any time, please do ask in the chat. I will make sure to interrupt and get your questions answered. And of course, after the presentations, we will be sending out our certificate of attendance that you can use for your continuing education credits, especially here in Ontario, for example. With that being said, I just wanted to introduce Lori, and we can get going.
Okay, thank you. Yes, as you said, my name is Lori Zyer. I'm the Director of Sales for North America for our wholesale toilet seats division. I've been with the company about 28 years now, so been around a while. We are located here in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, and that's where I am at the moment. I'm going to get started with our presentation. And as he said, please feel free to interrupt or ask questions as we go along because it makes it a lot more interesting. Okay, so let me just share my screen and all right, we're going to get started. Welcome everyone, and again, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to give you a brief history on our company. We're called Bemis Manufacturing Company. I've been around since 1901. We are the world's leading manufacturer of toilet seats. And we have been delivering innovation and quality to the market for over a decade. We are a family-owned business. We're in the fourth generation of family leadership. We have members on the board, members in the company, and then we have the fifth generation coming up in the ranks, working in the plant this summer, doing some internships. So it's a true family business, owned and operated. In fact, just FYI, this fun fact here on this picture of this old truck and the gentleman sitting there, he's actually my husband's great uncle. So it's been around for generations in this community, which is Sheboygan Falls is about 7,800 people. So a very small town, but we make a lot of toilet seats out of here. In terms of our values, the family brings a lot of the values to our organization. And, you know, one of the things that we have that we're very proud of is our consistency. We produce a lot of toilet seats, but we are known for quality. Our customers love us because they don't have to think about us after they purchase our product. We have very little quality problems. We're kind of a product line that runs out of the radar because we are so low maintenance with our quality control and things like that. We stay focused. We have our business is focused on toilet seats. There's not too many companies that can say that. A lot of companies are much more diverse, and we do have other products in our business. However, we have a huge chunk of our business focused solely on the toilet seat, how to make it better, how to create better features, and bring value to the everyday consumer. And then in terms of innovation, we're going to go through some of the innovation as we make our way through the slides, but there's some things that we have patented, protected features that really do bring that everyday value to the customer. And then in terms of social responsibility, the Bemis family and the company has always been, before it was kind of cool to be, you know, socially conscious from an environmental perspective, they've always followed the rules to the fullest in before they even had to. So for example, we started with water-based paint well beyond or well before it was necessary to do so. So they're very conscious of what are we doing to minimize our footprint as we manufacture products. So just in talking about environmental considerations, when we're talking about toilet seats, I will talk about, sometimes we have some molded wood toilet seats. What is a molded wood toilet seat? Well, it's not like we're cutting down a tree to make our molded wood toilet seats. We take post-industrial wood waste, which they list here as more than 4 million pounds a month, that we take and mix with some phenolic resin to create a toilet seat. So we are not cutting down trees to make toilet seats. We're actually taking products from like window manufacturers, floor manufacturers, people that make trusses. We'll take all those scraps and pieces, and we take those and grind them up in our processes to make our molded wood seats. In terms of water-based paint that I mentioned, our water-based paint emits much less VOC emissions than a typical imported toilet seat. So that is really also a huge help to the environment. And then in terms of plastics, we do a lot of plastic seats manufacturing, and we actually use a lot of recycled materials and content. And we partner with local manufacturers that might have plastics that they can't use in their process anymore, but we can use in ours. So we do a lot with recycling in terms of our plastic production. So it looks like we have a quiz or a question and answer. The first one is
just a poll for everybody.
a poll,
Just to get an
yeah.
idea of what's their top design priorities. And then in terms of the environment itself, if recycled material is a key factor, it'll just help us gauge what are your main concerns, what do you look for when selecting fixtures. So if you can help us with answering those questions as the presentation is having, that would be really appreciated.
Okay. Mo, am I giving them time to answer, or do I move
No,
on?
you can move on.
Okay.
They'll be able to answer as the presentation is happening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Sorry. In terms of our locations, I mentioned I'm out of the corporate headquarters in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. We do have global locations besides within the United States, Monterrey, Mexico, and then some European locations where we do some manufacturing as well. Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin is probably the largest, is the largest manufacturer. We probably produce 95% of our toilet seats out of this location. And then if we talk features on toilet seats, what kind of features do we offer? And these are going to be offered throughout the brand in different applications. But the first one I want to mention is whisper close, and it's basically a slow close toilet seat where the ring and cover close slowly and softly. I think we've all experienced having a seat that slams, right? This is actually a great product or a great feature to consider when it comes to noise control, like a hotel or something like that, where you want to keep the noise to a minimum. Stay tight is something we're going to talk about. That is our patented seat fastening system. We are very strong with our language in terms of how we describe that feature. We say it never loosens, guaranteed, and we've done lots of testing on this, and this is probably one of our best features that we're going to talk about as we move through the product line. The number one complaint of consumers and homeowners is seats coming loose, and it's been a problem for decades. We had one of our owners make it his mission probably 15 years ago or so to come up with challenge our engineers to come up with a fastening system that will never loosen once it's installed completely. So we're going to talk about that. There's some video on it, but this is something for both commercial and residential that I'd like you to consider. Following that is our Easy Clean. This is more on the residential side. This is basically where you can remove the seat for cleaning. The mounting hardware stays intact. So in terms of maybe an application for this, obviously single family home, multifamily, but also we have some customers that are really loving this product for their apartment complexes, because every time a new tenant comes in, they have to change out the toilet seat, and it just makes it very easy. They take the toilet seat off, put the new one on. No need to install the hardware each time. Plus, just cleanability. Everybody knows how hard it is to clean the toilet seat between the hinges. This makes it that much easier, as you can tell from the diagram. And then finally, or I shouldn't say finally, but precision seat fit is something, again, on some of our residential products. It just gives you the ability to adjust the seat front to back about a 1/2 inch of adjustability so that it lines up properly with the bowl. Our seats are designed to be more of a universal fit, I'll say, where they're going to be on many different brands of toilet bowls. So in our residential applications, we add something called precision seat fit, again, that adjustability. And finally, on some of our high-end products, we have something called super grip bumpers. Besides stay tight, the super grip bumpers give it that much more stability. So how does stay tight work? Again, it's a fastening system. It's more than just one piece in the system. It is really how the entire hardware pieces are designed. And basically, if we look at a commercial or a residential application, we have a more robust hardware system for commercial toilet seats, and then residential, slightly less robust, but super strong either way. Basically, the system has a break-off nut system where if you reach the proper amount of torque, the nut will break off. It'll break off at 80 inch-pounds of torque for a commercial seat and 40 inch-pounds for a residential seat. It basically takes the guesswork out of how tight to tighten a toilet seat for that plumber. A lot of times, the plumbers will be afraid to over-tighten something so that they don't either strip the nut or the bolt or crack the china. We take all that guesswork out by having that breakaway nut system. And again, we're going to look at a video that kind of explains this a little bit further. In terms of the diagrams here, this just kind of shows you on our commercial seats how our hinge system is put together. Basically, we use a glass-filled polypropylene hinge body for superior strength. We use stainless steel pintle and bolt, and then we use a glass-filled nylon piece of hardware or nut on the bottom. You can kind of see we have, again, on the inside here, if you can see where my mouse is going back and forth, this little fin bushing that actually snugs inside the mounting hole of the toilet bowl, eliminating any gap or slop where that hinge post can move around and start to loosen. So if you might know, on toilet bowls, the way they're manufactured, there's some shrinkage and things like that with the china when it's manufactured. So no bolt hole is exactly the same size necessarily. It's close, but not exact. And obviously, this fin bushing helps take up all that slack or slop within the mounting hole. The same principle applies for the residential. Again, less robust of a product because you don't need that in a residential application. However, super strong. Again, neither one of these is going to come loose when the nut is snapped off during the installation process. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can mention here, but you know, the way when this, just a quick fun fact, when this was first introduced, they had to reinforce the plastic that covers this this bolt because the clamping force on our stay tight fastening system is so strong, it was starting to pull the bolt through the plastic. So that's why we have this glass filled propylene hinge body that really has superior strength. And if you notice, again, I mentioned the longer thread coverage here. That again, that's part of the whole stay-tight fastening system. So the fin bushing, the longer thread coverage, and the break-off nut is really what makes up our stay-tight system. We also we did some testing when this came out as well. So from a plumber standpoint, very easy to install. It's one integrated nut screwed on by hand to the bolt, and it installs 33% faster. So it saves a lot of time if somebody's doing a big project, say a stadium or an airport, things like that, where time can be a big factor. It is definitely a big plus for the plumber. So we are going to watch this video, and that will kind of give you a little more insight on what I just mentioned. So pretty simple to look at that. That was a residential product. Here is for Stay Tight. This is a quick 12-second video on slow close. Again, showing soft closing seat and cover. Okay. Let's see, next slide here. This is our removable hinge cap that we have on our Easy Clean toilet seats. And I would say just a point of interest on this product or any of our hardware. We are well known to have very robust hardware. So we do not have issues with hinges breaking, bolts shearing off in our toilet seats, things like that. So quality is definitely number one on when it comes to our hardware systems. And then finally, we're going to look at the adjustability feature called Precision Seat Fit. You can see just the difference it makes in lining up your toilet seat properly to the bowl, so it doesn't look like it's hanging over or too short for the bowl. And then this is just our final on the Super Grip bumper, kind of highlighting. That Super Grip bumper is like an elastic, oops, sorry, hang on. It's an elastic material that's I would say similar to, like, if you can imagine your toothbrush, where it's a strong plastic, or but it's got some give to it. That's kind of what our these Super Grip bumpers are made of. And then in terms of our, we talked about recyclability in our plastic seats. We have something, a process that we use called co-inject molding, and that's basically taking recycled content injected into the mold, where the recycled material is completely encapsulated by the virgin plastic. So it's a multi-layered molded part where, unless you cut the seat in half or did a slice like this showing on the screen, you would not know that there's recycled content on the inside of our product. And it's not on every seat, but it's on a good majority of our plastic seats. The advantages, it does reduce our cost. It diverts, waste that would normally go to a landfill back into our product. For example, we'll take all of our we call them runners. There's the parts when the injection molding machine has like a small stick that comes off of the piece that needs to be clipped off. We save all those, we grind them up, put them right back into the process. So this is definitely a great way to manufacture, especially the thicker seats that we have. And in terms of strength, there is no issue with strength. In fact, it usually outperforms a solid virgin material seat product. So those are some of the advantages of our co-injection molding process. In terms of some terminology, when we get into the toilet seats themselves, we're going to talk about a check hinge and a self-sustaining hinge. A check hinge is basically a seat that can be raised vertically, but then pushed back about 11 degrees beyond that vertical position. And that's just so that it doesn't have a tendency to fall forward inadvertently. And then as far as our self-sustaining hinge, that is a hinge where if you can imagine, and this is mostly offered in a commercial application where it has some resistance to opening and closing it, so it will stay in any position open, whether it's 45 degrees, 75 degrees, whatever that angle is. If you would just raise that seat, it'll stay in that position until you move it either all the way up or all the way down. It's basically like an anti-slam feature, so that if you can, in like say a stadium or someplace where you wouldn't want, maybe people might be a little more rowdy or rough, you wouldn't want seats slamming up and down onto the china, whether it would break the china or break the seat, whatever it might be. But it's just a nice way of having, not having a residential soft close, but having a commercial non-slamming type toilet seat. And then you'll also hear me mention something called DuraGuard. This is an antimicrobial property built into the toilet seat to inhibit the growth of bacteria. So this is in the seat itself throughout, whether it's plastic or, it doesn't matter if it's, 5 years old or 1 year old, that DuraGuard is a permanent antimicrobial property. It protects the users. It does not protect the users or others against the bacteria, viruses, or germs or other disease-causing organisms. It basically prevents the growth or inhibits the growth on the seat itself. We cannot say it does anything for people. That's not the proper way to describe this product. The active ingredient, if you're curious, is a zinc pyrithanone, and it's an antimicrobial used in a variety of applications, including building products, plastics, polyurethane products, textiles, and so forth. There's a little bit more on here, but basically it's used to control mold, mildew, yeast, fungi, algae, and gram-positive and negative bacteria. So where would you want to put a toilet seat that has this property or this feature? Sometimes office buildings might be a great choice, hotels, schools, hospitals, things like that, that probably should be listed here as well as a feature, but there's a lot of applications where you'd want a DuraGuard toilet seat. Some of the seats we'll get into that have our DuraGuard feature, and we talked about hospitality as an option. These are a dedicated line of hospitality seats. You can use these in office buildings and other light commercial as well. But when I say it's dedicated to the hospitality industry, I'll tell you why. And that is because it's got this integrated hinge post right into the cap. So if you can see my mouse kind of circling around that hinge, if you can imagine this hinge post is molded right into the body of that hinge, meaning you don't need a hinge cap to open and install from the top. I guess how many, the question might be, how many of us have been to a hotel where the hinge is very unsightly in the hotel? It's either broken, the cap is broke off, what have you, or it's loose. This has got our Stay Tight fastening system, a commercial grade Stay Tight, as well as, again, that integrated hinge. It's got the fin bushing. It's kind of hard to see on this picture, but this is going to give you a super stable product for a hospitality environment, an office building, things like that. And when I say hospitality, I don't want to, I'm just going to try to emphasize too, like if you imagine maintenance at a hotel, the things that they have to go around and do each week or each day to keep their rooms in service, tightening toilet seats is something they, don't enjoy doing, and it's a huge waste of time for them. So having a Stay Tight seat in a hospitality environment is going to be a huge help to that maintenance guy or gal. The three products in this category are the 7800, our 7900, and the 790, which is the round version of the 7900. The weights you can see here, so you're going to get very robust weighted product. And then you can see our features from Stay Tight and DuraGuard to Stay Tight DuraGuard, Whisper Close, Super Grip bumpers, and same with the the round version of that model. So and I'm going to hit the next slide, and we're going to see some additional hospitality type seats. One is our 7300 SL and the 7600T, so round elongated, and you can see Stay Tight and Whisper Close, and this one just has Stay Tight. So in terms of features, obviously when you have fuller featured product, the price point is going to be higher, but you can see we kind of have, I feel like we have a seat for every budget of environment. So whether it's a Motel 6 or you have a nice Hilton or Marriott property, we have just about every type of hotel room seat in the right price points for that. And then, oops, again, some more hospitality seats. These are open front seats with cover. So depending on, what code might be or what is the preference, open front is available on these with the DuraGuard antimicrobial as well. Depends on, like I said, basically on the design of the building. If you want a more residential look, you're going to go with a closed front, but if you still want that open front, it's available. And then in terms of our next level of toilet seats, this is our some additional open front seats with cover. These do not have the DuraGuard. They do not have our Stay Tight fastening system, but they are still used in various applications, probably not as popular as the previous slides I just showed you. But you can see just weight difference is basically going to be your trade up strategy on that. So depending on the application, if you need something more heavy duty or if it's a price sensitive environment, you might go with something a little bit more lighter weight. Okay, so we just talked about our commercial seats with cover. This is transitioning now us to DuraGuard open front less cover. So again, these seats here are very popular, especially these first two, in more of a hospital facility, medical facility, that type of thing. 2155 and 2155 SSCT. What's the difference here? The 2155 is a standard hinge, commercial Stay Tight hinge. That self-sustaining check hinge that we talked about, where it's got that resistance to slam closed, is the 2155 SSCT. So that's the difference here in these two model numbers. The next level up from that is going to be the 3155 CT or SSCT. Again, going from a heavy, mid-weight, I'll say, product to a heavier weight product at 4.8 pounds. Again, Stay Tight, DuraGuard, and then the option for a self-sustaining hinge. And then we get over to the 1955 CTFR and then the SSTFR, which again is a seat that includes the DuraGuard, but also includes something called Fire Pro, which means it's not going to give off harmful chemicals in the event of a fire. And sometimes you'll see those seats put in applications like a school or something like that, where that is needs to be a consideration. And again, it's got that self-sustaining option as well. And then we are getting into just general public space, open front less cover seats. Again, these are going to cross over. So any of these that I'm showing you in terms of open front less cover, it's basically in a broad sense, just public space toilet seats, right? Where you don't have that cover. It's an open front application. It just depends on the segment that it's going into, whether it's hospitality, office, school, medical facility, things like that. So we're going to have some overlap in terms of the categories that these would fall under, but in terms of a trade up strategy, that's kind of what we're trying to show you here, where the base product is our 1055 model and 1055 SSC. Again, that self-sustaining hinge option. This is a very, I'll say, simple product. It's got our traditional fastening system, so not stay tight. It's got a lock washer and nut metal hinge or metal hardware kit. Then we go up to our 1955 CT, or the round version is the 955 CT. This is our number one seller. The 1955 CT is by far the most specified product and our biggest seller. Between that and the 1955 SSCT. So these two models that I'm scrolling across to, most popular commercial seat that we have, goes everywhere. So again, this is our base model with simply has the commercial stay tight fastening system. And then if you want that, I'll call it the anti-slam self-sustaining check hinge, that is available on this model as well. And then for a more robust application, we have our 1655 CT or 1655 SSCT. Again, you go up in weight, you can see that's quite a bit more in weight and stay tight and the self-sustaining option. This seat, a lot of times will go into stadiums, medical facilities, things like that, where they have a little more money to spend. It's a super durable seat. These all are very durable, but that one with that extra weight is basically how you'd rank that in terms of robust durability. We also have some under our Church brand. Church brand is I'll call it a sub brand of the Bemis family of toilet seats. We acquired that brand back in the 1980s, and it is a widely specified brand. So you will often see a Bemis, a Church, an Olsenite SKU on specifications, and in the US only. So this brand has only sold in the United States. But I just want to quickly run through the lineup here. It's very similar to the Bemis brand on the slide previous. So 255 and 255 SSC, again, good product, has the traditional hardware with that metal lock washer and nut system hardware kit. And then we go into our stay tight fastening system on these two products, the 295 CT, SSCT, and the 9500 CT and SSCT. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but these numbers are, again, very highly specified. Same as the Bemis version. This is just our Church brand version. A lot of times these specifications stay in the systems of these engineering firms for decades, and we don't want to miss out on a job because they don't think we have a product. So we've strategically kept these key items in our product offering for that purpose. And then finally, we have our Olsenite brand of products, which is our 10 CT, SSCT, and our 95 CT, SSCT. Again, this is just a basically better best option. So this is our stay tight fastening system with the option for the self-sustaining hinge, and then that more robust seat at 5.3 pounds, stay tight and self-sustaining. So if that makes sense to everyone, I hope, on those models. Okay. Any questions before we get off a commercial? Otherwise, I'll move on to our residential, single family, multifamily seats category. Okay. So we have a lineup here in front of you that's going to give you kind of a good, better, best option. So we have a molded wood option that we recommend for multifamily and single family homes. This is our number one selling wood seat in our lineup. It's the 1500 EC. For our Canadian market, we do not sell much of this product. We sell probably 95 or more % plastic seats in Canada. It's pretty, in terms of unit sales, the reverse in the United States. The US uses a lot of molded wood products, and this is our number one molded wood seat, heavily used by the plumbers in, again, multifamily, single family homes. You would never use this seat in a commercial application though. So don't use it in a hotel or anything like that, because the molded wood seats are not desired to have the harsh cleaning chemicals that a lot of the hotels use on their toilet seats. It's meant for residential only. Plus it's removable for cleaning. It's got that easy clean hinge, and we don't want easy clean or removable seats in public space or commercial applications. And then we have our 170 model, which is our, I would say, more an opening price point plastic seat, no bells and whistles, but a good hardware system, very strong, but a price point. This is our price fighter for multifamily projects. And you could use this, I've seen it used or specified in some hotel applications where it's perhaps a lower budget hotel. And then we go up to, I'm going to skip over to the right side of the screen. These probably should be reversed, but the 7300 SLEC or the 730 SLEC and the 730 EC and 7300 EC. So that's kind of our mid-price or mid-featured product, not as heavyweight as our best 1200 model, but it is definitely got some features to it. It's got easy clean here. It's got our stay tight fastening system and so forth. And then this one has just our easy clean system. And then in terms of our best product for residential, that would be our 1200 E4. This one is a nice heavyweight plastic seat, and it's got all of our fully featured with all of our features. So it's got our stay tight, easy clean, whisper close, the super grip bumpers, and that precision seat fit for adjustability. So this 1200 is primarily used in, I would say, single family homes and nicer condos or apartments. And then we have something new. It's called our Universal Fit Plastic Toilet Seat. And this is just launched in March of this year. It features our stay tight fastening system as well as our whisper close. So it is a plastic toilet seat with an adjustable hinge it gives you 1.5 inch adjustability. So it fits both a round and an elongated toilet. So you might wonder how that works, but it's that 1.5 inch adjustability that gives us the on a round bowl the ability to push the seat all the way to the back so it aligns properly with the front of the bowl. And on an elongated seat, it's pushed closer towards the front. We showed this at the Kitchen and Bath Show, and it was very well received. We had it on bowls, Kohler Wellworth, round elongated, and it looked very, very good on either one of those bowls. What's nice about that from a contractor standpoint, if somebody is servicing a lot of apartments or condos and they're not sure what size seat they need, this is a good one to have in their inventory so that they can replace seats easily or for a service plumber for on their truck, things like that. So that's something new and getting a lot of good reviews on that. Simplifies the SKU offering. And that's pretty much the end of our presentation. Do we have any questions, or Mo, how would you like to proceed? I know you still have some other survey questions.
No, the survey questions, they're all been answered. Thanks to everybody that answered, actually. What I wanted to see if there's any other questions. If not, I'm going to be doing a quick demo on the tool itself, on the spec tool. We have a couple of new features that I wanted to show here, and especially the templates and the quick access drawers, where it makes it easier for you to select a full package. So when you're looking for a toilet, it comes with the toilet, the seat, and the supplies as well, or a flush valve and a carrier if you need it. But if you have any questions, yeah, let us know. If not, I'll move on to the demo portion of this presentation. What's happening here? All right, I guess no other questions. Okay, so let me share my screen here. Second. All right, I think we can see my screen now. All right, so I just wanted to show, the first thing I wanted to highlight here is when you log in to your account, you'll always see the next session or the next webinar that we have. So for example, this is the one that we're having right now from Bemis. But as the new topic comes in and gets scheduled, we'll advertise it right here at the top. You're familiar with the quick action buttons in terms of creating a new project, new quick spec. I wanted to highlight two main features today, the templates and the quick access drawers. So when it comes to templates, so the first thing is when you're creating a new project, for example. So today we'll say Bemis HQ, country, United States. And we'll go with Wisconsin and the city. All right, there you go. So let's say Milwaukee, for example, or Miles, the first one that comes up. So next, when you select your building type of the office building, we do prompt building templates right here. I'm gonna show it to you in a different way. So next, finish, and as you've seen in the previous demos that we have done, this is where you will see the different categories that we have, and you can pin as a favorite as well. So for example, if you're looking just specifically for a seat, this is the seat category, and you can pin it as a favorite so that it comes right at the top, right here when it comes for your selections. Anything that you don't select often, you can unpin. But if you go to ATS templates, let's say, for example, I'm looking for an office template, or I can even search for it as well. So we'll go to a US Class B. Here, what you will find a full selection that we've already made for you based on the vertical that you searched for. For example, we'll deselect everything here. So you'll see here there is a pressure that says tank toilet, there is a flush valve toilet, there's a barrier-free toilet as well. So if I copy all those three selections, I go to project, and I can find my project that I just built. It's going to copy everything from my templates over to my project within seconds, basically. So as you can see here, I have my American Standard toilet, I have a Bemis seat, and then I have a flush valve as well from Delta. So you have everything that matched together. So this is one of the new features that we've added. Another feature that I wanted to highlight today is you can go to add drawing, create new drawing, and it's going to take you to the same page that you're familiar with. But if we go back to the same project page, add drawing from masters and templates. So I can go to ATS templates, and I can search for the templates from right here. So again, office, and I can find my US office Class B. And let's say, for example, I want a flush valve wall hung. I can just drag it over to my current project that I'm working on, and it's gonna copy the selection over. If it's something that I select often, then I can even pin it as a favorite here. So this way, when I come back, the next time I want to add a product, I can go to add drawings from masters and templates, and I can go to pin drawings, and I can find it right here, pinned as a favorite for me. And I can, again, drag it over, and it's gonna add it to my projects. So these are just quick tricks that I wanted to show today in terms of adding products from your from our templates over to your projects. Also, a quick way to access products as you're adding more fixtures to your project as well. And once you've finished all your selections, you can go to generate spec docs, and you can select what you would like for your output format. So let's say, for example, you want your submittals, your long spec, and you can generate documents, and the system will generate those 2 documents for you. If you're on the tool and you have any questions, you can obviously reach out to me or to your account manager. I will be more than happy to assist you. We also have a chat option where someone from our customer success team or from our spec team will be able to help you with your selections, be it finding a product or sizing or anything that you need. If we can help you with all your requests and inquiries. Once this is ready, download, and we have our cut sheets ready here. So you have your water closet, and you have your seat, and then you have your flush valve as well. And then I can go back. We can look at the written spec as well. So again, same thing. Any questions? We did a really good job. No questions for either of us.
I'd like to say thank you for everybody for attending. Appreciate it.
I think we might have a question here. That was perfect. Thanks, Sven. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to everybody that attended today, and thanks to Lori as well. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, please do reach out. We'll be more than happy to assist you. And in terms of the certificate of attendance, we'll try to get them out to you before the end of the week. Thanks again, and have a good day.
Thank you.